Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the second day of the Arab MTech and Startups Conference. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. George Agathangelou in our next session. Yes, over to you, Mr. George.
Good day, everyone. Thank you very much, Linda. My name is George Agathangelou. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of BLOC.co. I have an extensive experience in the regulated financial services industry, and I have served most of my career as an executive for Cyprus investment firms. In the last 3 years, I am focused exclusively on business applications using blockchain technology. Although I heard about Bitcoin in early 2012, I only became fascinated with Bitcoin in 2013 during the Cyprus crisis, the economic crisis that we have. At that time, I started mining Bitcoin at home up until 2015, as there were not many alternatives at the time to acquire Bitcoins. And during that time, I started learning as much as I could about Bitcoin and never stopped researching the matter. Currently, I'm part of the Institute of the Future initiative, and we have BLOC.co, which is a company that was spun out of the university with the mission of combating certificate fraud using blockchain technology. I'm also part of the Grant Thornton Cyprus blockchain division, advising on enterprise use cases involving blockchain technology. As a certified Bitcoin professional, I have been advocating for the use of new technologies to combat fraud and have been proactive in the organization of local meetups, open lectures involving blockchain technology. I'm also a founding member of the Cyprus Blockchain Association and the Vice President of Decentralized Nicosia chapter. Currently, I am undertaking the Masters in Digital Currency at the University of Nicosia as to obtain a holistic and verified proof of knowledge on the subject. I'm very excited to be part of the Arab MTech and Startups Conference, together with such esteemed speakers from all over the world. In this presentation, we will talk about how we combat fraud using blockchain technology, delivering a promise for the future in which document fraud is almost impossible to achieve, while identifying fraud is quite easy. So let us start with our presentation and explain what is blockchain. We need to provide this necessary basic information before we can understand the impact that this technology will bring to our lives. A simple definition of the blockchain is that it is a type of distributed ledger or decentralized database that keeps continually updated digital records of who owns what. So instead of having a central administrator like a traditional database, a distributed ledger has a network of replicated databases synchronized via the internet and visible to anyone within the network. So how does it work? In a blockchain structure, records are bundled together into blocks and added to the chain one after the other, creating a chain of blocks with transactions or data, a blockchain. In a blockchain, one can only add information, and this information is available for every participant in the network to verify on its own. In the case of open public blockchains, such as the Bitcoin blockchain, there are no barriers to entry. You only need a software and an internet connection to be able to participate. So, instead of having a central administrator like a traditional database, a distributed ledger has a network of replicated databases, synchronized via the internet and visible to anyone within the network. Updating the ledger usually requires solving Byzantine agreements with economically incentivized participation, which is secured by cryptography. In simple terms, and in the case of the Bitcoin blockchain, special machinery called miners solve complex mathematical problems that require a lot of processing power and electricity. In their race to discover first the next block to be added on the blockchain for a reward, they provide security to the system through the hash rate that they provide. And this incentivized agreement of the state of the blockchain provides a model for open participation with no trusted authority. So a more precise definition of the blockchain would be that a blockchain is an append-only ledger of transactions grouped into blocks that is distributed between peers in a way each participant can verify it on its own. Updating the ledger usually requires solving Byzantine agreements with economically incentivized participation that is secured by cryptography, and the incentivized consensus is a crucial element to provide a model for open participation with no trusted authority. Here we can see a comparison between the blockchain and a traditional database. When it comes to the structure, a blockchain is distributed compared to a traditional client-server structure. Just making sure that you can see my screen. So authority is decentralized compared to a centralized structure. When it comes to the cost of deployment, the cost is higher for distributed ledgers compared to a single point of deployment like a server. On blockchains, you may only read and write, while on a traditional database, you can create, you can read, you can update, you can delete. And it makes it redundant in the case that we want to preserve data integrity. The security and integrity of distributed ledgers is very high compared to databases, as they are easy prey for hackers and fraudsters. When it comes to performance, due to its decentralized nature and depending on the consensus mechanism, performance may be slow compared to a centralized database. But when it comes to transparency, open public blockchains are a perfect solution, while on the other hand, centralized databases, transparency is provided by an admin, depending on the permission levels that we permit to see. So, moving on, excuse me. I just wanted to show you on this slide here. There we go. So the story of BLOC.co can be traced back in 2014 when the University of Nicosia identified a need for a secure and self-verifiable credentials. A growing market in forged credentials and the vulnerability of certification documents in the face of man-made and natural disasters meant that a solution was increasingly necessary. And given University of Nicosia's early immersion in the blockchain world with the launching of the first master's degree in digital currencies in 2014, it was clear to them that blockchain technology was best suited to fill that role. They needed a solution with certificates that would be vendor independent and without a central point of potential failure. A solution that would outlive the issuing institution itself. So, in 2015, the University of Nicosia became the first university globally to experiment with the deployment of blockchain technology in the issuance of academic certificates. They were confident that there was no safer or more secure application than that of the blockchain technology, and in particular, no safer blockchain than the Bitcoin blockchain for the purpose. And it quickly became clear that it was not only academia that could benefit from a reliable credential authentication solution. BLOC.co was born with the objective of taking the initial learnings and expanding the product beyond education to other industries as well as the public sector. Indeed, to any organization or sector that issues digital documents whose authenticity and immutability we want to secure. Moving on, here is another slide with some more information about the University of Nicosia and the Institute for the Future. So the Institute for the Future is an interdisciplinary research center at the University of Nicosia aimed at advancing emerging technologies and contributing to their effective application in the industry, government, and education. So our mission is to educate leaders, develop knowledge, and build communities to help society prepare for a future shaped by transformative technologies. The current focus is on two main areas: blockchain and digital currencies, where we have been the world's first institution to offer academic programs in this field since 2014. And we are also focusing on forecasting algorithms through the Makridakis Open Forecasting Center, hosted within the Institute for the Future. When it comes to the company purpose, our mission is to eliminate document fraud everywhere by transforming the way institutions manage digital records. And our vision is to develop innovative solutions that address the needs of the clients by remaining at the forefront of technological developments in our sector. Via its blockchain as a service platform, BLOC.co allows institutions to issue digital documents that are anchored to the blockchain, assuring immutability and security by simply dragging and dropping a simple PDF file within the platform. So the product features a truly decentralized, open source issuing and validation model, which is aligned with other data standards, while it is extremely easy to use and allows for economies of scale, lowering costs, and saving time and effort for organizations. Here we can see the main problem in society with fraud. A recent survey from Crow and the University of Portsmouth for 2019 indicated that 6% of the GDP is lost due to financial fraud globally. In money terms, this equates to more than $5 trillion every year. So when it comes to fake certificate, we identified that lost performance and value leads to wasted money to combat fraud, qualified people being deprived of employment, and credentials being faked and misrepresented. Moreover, over the last 10 years, we noticed an increase of 57% when it comes to general fraud, ever signaling the need for an innovative solution to tackle this problem. So, fraud may have many shapes and many forms. When it comes to academia, we can see that we have essay mills procuring plagiarism, fake certificate vendors and diploma mills supplying fake certificates and diplomas to fake universities. And the system is generally bleeding from fraud. So technological factors are partly to blame, as today there is greater complexity of processes and systems. Most transactions are now being undertaken by computers with very few face-to-face transactions taking place, and controls are struggling to keep up with the increasing pace of change in business. Our solution to the problem, and in our opinion, is blockchain technology. It's a technology which brings transparency and immutability to processes in an open and secure environment for all participants. When it comes to our solution, BLOC.co's solution, as we move more and more towards digitalization, we believe that the value and reliance of authenticated digital document is rising. To verify the authenticity of a PDF in a world where so much fraud and manipulation of data exists, there is a need for a solution that eradicates fraud, a solution that ensures confidence in the security of a digital document, while at the same time it is minimizing bureaucracy and administration costs. We created a solution that would provide a validation process that is completely decentralized and independent of any issuing institution. A solution that would potentially outlive the issuing institution itself. One that would be technically trivial, very easy to use when issuing and when validating documents. And a solution that would be built on the most secure blockchain to protect against any fake certificate. Lastly, we wanted a solution that would provide efficiencies, such as reducing costs and manual processes. Out of these principles, BLOC.co's solution was born. And how we help our customers, we help them in the issuance of electronic documents, in the validation of those documents, and also in the revocation. So via its BaaS platform, blockchain as a service platform, BLOC.co allows institutions to issue digital documents that are anchored to the blockchain, assuring immutability and security by simply dragging and dropping a simple PDF file. The product features a truly decentralized open source issuing and validation method, which is aligned with other data standards, while it is extremely easy to use, lowering cost and saving time and effort. All content and personal data is stored off-chain. This is happening for maximum privacy, while the encrypted information that is stored on the blockchain, it actually complements the data privacy guidelines and empowers recipients with ownership of their records. The documents produced are 100% self-contained and self-verifiable, This means that they contain both the blockchain proof and the data within the document. That also means that you do not need to install any additional software, any additional applications in order to verify the authenticity of a file. This allows for an independent verification of the document's authenticity through the open source validator, making the solution truly decentralized and timeless, ensuring vendor independence. With its on-chain revocation process, expired or revoked documents leave a complete audit trail, ensuring transparency and trust. The BLOC.co platform also features issuance of unlimited file size documents, issuance in batches. You can also search for the issuances that you made before. We have the ability to include a QR code, so you can actually validate a document through your mobile phone with the QR scanner. And we also have a one-click verification link that it allows for instant verification. We also allow for API integration with existing legacy systems. So we can also have multiple users, different permission levels, featuring pay-as-you-go packages, and we can customize all these depending on your organizational needs. When it comes to blockchain technology, don't worry about that because we cater for all your needs. You do not need to have any blockchain experience or knowledge in order to use our solution. Plus, our customers, they enjoy a dedicated account manager providing tailored onboarding with administrator training. We also provide certificate design services, issuance management, and of course, we support you by phone and email at all times. Here is our value proposition. With our solution, customers do not need to worry anymore about fraud. They also do not need to worry about customers' confidence in the vendor surviving an economic crisis, since the validation process is now completely decentralized. They also do not need to worry about manual processes and the cost of securing their documents, security and integrity. So our product offers a truly decentralized issuance and validation process, as I mentioned. It is anchoring encrypted information on the most secure blockchain to date, the Bitcoin blockchain. The documents produced are 100% self-contained and self-verifiable. They contain the proof and the data within the document. No need to install additional software. So our solution ensures trust as it utilizes the trustless environment that is distributed to participants over the mechanics of the Bitcoin blockchain. It eliminates any fear of hacking, as one would practically have to hack the Bitcoin blockchain to achieve an attack, an incident that has not happened to date. With its on-chain revocation process, expired or revoked documents leave a complete audit trail. So here we can see the twofold solution of BLOC.co. So on one hand, you have an open source code using the blockchain technology for validating certificates with no vendor independence, and this can be integrated into any existing information system. And we also offer the blockchain as a service platform to enable any type of certificate issuing entity to issue secure digital documents, which can be very easily validated as to their authenticity by anyone in the globe, independently and remotely. When it comes to the protocol issues, the certified PDFs, we can see that BLOC.co's innovative blockchain technology allows for the certificates to be anchored on a strong cryptographic platform, thus assuring open access, immutability, transparency, and security. You may easily explain to users that the certificates that they receive are their certified electronic certificates or documents. A digital fingerprint of the document that was encrypted and stored on the blockchain is included in the document as machine-readable metadata. The users are in full control of who the PDF is shared to or distributed to. So the certificate can be validated to be genuine using an open public blockchain that is renowned for its security. in this case, the Bitcoin blockchain. So, in essence, BLOC.co offers the only truly decentralized solution to secure PDF documents from fraud without intermediaries. Although there may be other companies out there offering a blockchain solution for digital documents, we are the only ones to offer a truly decentralized solution. We are the only ones to combine the issuance, revocation, and validation of self-contained and self-verifiable digital documents. Another thing that you need to take into consideration is that most digital credentialing solutions are 100% centralized and may act as a single point of failures. Hackers could exploit security vulnerabilities to change information on that server. BLOC.co utilizes the Bitcoin blockchain where everyone can openly verify the audit trail. And another thing that is important is that most solutions require you to install additional software like a wallet in order to view or verify credentials. We do it through a simple self-contained PDF file. I'm sure we all use PDF files every day since it's a widely used open standard for documents. A wallet would require setup, it would require training personnel on how to install, how to use the blockchain wallets. It would also require ongoing support in order to maintain the wallet's security. Here we can see some of the examples and the use cases of the various industries that we serve. So as you can see, we serve a multitude of industries with an exhaustive list of use cases. Just some of the examples in the education industry, for example, you have matriculation degrees, university academic degrees, transcripts, professional training certificates. When it comes to accounting and audit, you can procure your own secure invoices, you can create financial statements, pay slips, emolument certificates. Or when it comes to the legal industry, we can notarize contracts, we can notarize non-disclosure agreements, we can provide a timestamp on all those legal documents, registration documents, certificates of ownerships, testaments, deeds, wills, technology transfer agreements, intellectual property rights. These are all some of the use cases that we help with the legal industry. When it comes to the insurance sector, we can do policy certificates, claim certificates, and cover notes. When it comes to banking and finance, bank reference letter is one of the simplest use cases, however, it's so powerful. We can also do corporate loan applications, any compliance services documents, and when it comes to shipping, we can see the daily cargo record certificates, the compliance and safety management certificates. These are only some of the use cases. An important industry that I would like to emphasize is the audit industry. For paper receipts, the risk of unnoticed modification to invoices or other documents is comparably low because of their physical nature. However, electronic files cannot be perceived physically, and they are especially vulnerable to changes. As a consequence, digitalizing paper records introduces the necessity for further preventive measures which have to be documented in a conclusive manner for third parties, for example, the auditors. The solution, in our opinion, is to integrate blockchain as a source of trust with typical accounting procedures. For example, securing the integrity and immutability of records. BLOC.co's solution makes it possible to prove the integrity of these electronic files easily by simply dragging and dropping that file into an online validator. So BLOC.co's solution can integrate with existing account software products and basically automatically anchor the information on the blockchain and then to be distributed to the client, which in turn, when the client supplies the information to the auditor, he can very easily and independently verify for the authenticity, saving valuable time and effort when it comes to the auditing process. This also translates to a smaller charge to the client, since there was a lot of time and effort saved. So the auditor spends less time on the document verification checks, thus provides lower chargeable hours to the client, who would be in turn willing to accept the blockchain option offered by its supplier, who would have that option made available through its accounting software provider. Here we can see an example. So in this slide, we can see two identical invoices from Amazon Web Services. With a few minutes time and an image editing software, anyone can change the amount on the invoice and try to commit fraud. Now imagine a scenario where he or she can call a friend at the accounting department and tell them that this month we had some extra charges on our invoice that we already paid, and if you can please wire back the amount, effectively creating fraud and some extra money for the aspiring invoice magician. So if the document contained a cryptographic proof within the PDF, our accountant could have instantly verified the invoice authenticity without any intermediaries. The PDF could also include a QR code or a unique link that once scanned or clicked, it would allow for a decentralized validation of the document on the go, through even a mobile device, without any downloads required, making the validation task easy as clicking a button. In this slide, we can see a few of the examples when it comes to the public sector. So we can see that our lives essentially depend more and more on digital documents. While the technology to completely eradicate fraud is readily available, why not to be used also in the public sector? The registration, transfer, or immobilization of vehicles, driver instructor certificates, road tax license. All these are some of the certificates that involve the Department of Road and Transport. The police force may also use it for the issuance of clean criminal record certificate, maybe gun licenses or security gun licenses. The company's register may also use it for company incorporation documents and for the verification of company executives. In healthcare, our solution may be used for medical records, for medical prescriptions, for licensed practitioner certificates, and for medical insurance claims. And last but not least, local authorities may use it for marriage certificates, birth certificates, parking licenses, so many examples that apply also in the public sector. With this slide, we come to the end of our presentation. I just want to remind our audience that BLOC.co collaborates also with software companies, with document management system companies, ERP solution, education platform, and secure printing solution providers. If these companies are looking to secure and ensure accuracy of self-contained and self-verifiable digital documents, then please do not hesitate to contact us. We help streamline operations, safeguard integrity of data, and boost efficiency as a result. You may also follow us on your favorite social media for frequent updates from BLOC.co. We strive to keep up to date in order to provide you with all the news regarding blockchain technology, the business adoption of the technology, and all the latest news from the regulators. We aspire to contribute to the adoption of the technology in order to shape a world without document fraud. Our motto is do not trust, verify. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. George. We have one question from Hatem. He said, if BLOCO is offering verification solutions on the blockchain, doesn't that mean that people will have to trust BLOCO as a single point of trust?
Not at all, not at all, because the way that first of all, our solution is open source code, meaning that anyone can actually take the code and anchor their documents on their own. However, if they do not have the experience or the knowledge how to do that, they can very easily use our blockchain as a service platform. From then on, all the data, it depends how they would like to treat the data. For example, they could have their own local server and have no interaction with BLOC.co whatsoever. So all of that, again, it has to do with the special needs of the organization. If that is the case, then we can cater to that case and make sure that there is no contact with personal information whatsoever.
Thank you very much. I think there is any other question. Let me check. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a very nice conference. I'm very glad to be part of it.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.